Hello, everyone. Well, welcome to the Board of Directors meeting. It's May 20th, 3:02. Call the meeting to order, and the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Ben, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first order of business is a public hearing on the proposed service changes for the fall of 2024. Mr. Dupler will make the presentation, and I have one card from the public from an Ashton Smith.
Okay.
Chad.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to introduce the item, and then Phil will do the presentation. This is a public hearing on the service changes for the fall of 2024. We came to you back in March and highlighted what those changes were. We had some public meetings that we went through last month, and then in your packet, you should have seen all of the comments that we received for the service changes. So Phil's going to go through the fall service changes. The presentation actually has two parts. I'm going to be very clear about this for you so you know what you're voting on. The first part is the service changes, as I said, as Phil is going to be presenting on. The second part of the presentation are the fare changes. I wanted to hold the fare changes until June so we could gather a little bit more information, and so we'll bring back the fare changes to the board in a second public hearing at the June board meeting. So just to be very clear on that, we have included everything that we presented at the public meetings in that one, presentation. And so you'll see that again in June. So I'll let Phil do the presentation, and I'll come back up for the action item.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Chad. Do I have my presentation up? All right. I have the clicker. Thank you. All right, thanks. During the month of April, we had a series of public meetings, and I'm going to go through that presentation for you now, or at least the first part of it, which involves the service changes. And like Chad said, the fare changes we'll go over in next month. Oh, a little bit slow. All right. So back in September of 2021, we implemented a system redesign, which was designed to enhance the service by making it much more user-friendly, simplifying the routes, adding frequency in certain places where we felt necessary, and basically simplifying, making more direct routes. So we had, after that system redesign implementation, about a year and a half, 18 months or so later, we wanted to give it time for people to get used to it. And then we started to assess how things had gone, to see what went right, what went well, which routes were doing a lot of ridership, which ones were not. And so that's the first thing we looked at, was what was our ridership doing on each of the new routes that we had done changes on. And so we looked at all of the routes and ranked the ridership, the average daily ridership, and found that 5 routes carry a little bit over 50% of our ridership, while 17 routes carry a little bit less than 10% of our ridership. And so looking at this and some of the other changes that we had done, so for instance, Route 25 had gotten an increase in ridership, increase in frequency during the changes, as well as Route 6, and those had actually done pretty well. So we know that frequency people really respond well to frequency. And so what we looked at what we wanted to do was to shift some of the resources that are used on the routes on the right side of this chart to the left side of the chart, to add frequency to the routes that look like that they would perform well with added frequency. Particularly the Route 5 there, which was right between 6 and 25, both of those have a 15-minute frequency, and Route 5 is at 30 minutes. Should I point this a certain? Oh, it's just slow. So what we wanted to do was to look at a number of, I'm going to go through a number of changes that we're proposing. These are the ones, and I'll go through each one of those in a little bit of detail. So this pie chart's just kind of another way of looking at the same information, and you can see that Route 5 is a pretty good slice of pie. It carries a good chunk of our ridership. And that's because we had, back in, shortly after our ABC, or system redesign, we responded to some public feedback and actually extended Route 5 to the TCC South Campus and the VA clinic. And that has done really well for us. That extension has made our ridership, it's actually up 9% more than it was pre-COVID. And so what we're recommending to do is to take some of the resources from low-performing routes and add to Route 5 to give it 15-minute service as well, particularly because of those medical connections that it has. So these are some of the routes that we're looking at making some eliminations on, and because they're the lowest performing routes, they're some of the lowest performing, but they're also some of the easiest for us to mitigate those lost connections. And I'm going to go through each one of these, starting with the southeast zip zone, the Route 28, which is entirely within the southeast zip zone. So those people that are living along Route 28, for them it would be mostly a mode shift from using fixed route to using the zip zone. So it serves, that zip zone serves a number of big destinations along that Route 28, the Walmart, for instance, and the Sierra Vista Transit Center, and the service span is about the same with Route 28 as it is for the southeast zip zone as well. And so no one's really losing connectivity who lives along Route 28. They would simply be shifting to a different mode of service. Well, trying to get it to click. Okay. All right, the second one is Route 45. Route 45, we heard probably the most about Route 45 from the public on this change. Starting back in December, we had a public meeting. We heard from a lot of people that said that Route 45 just really didn't do everything that they would like for it to do. So they listed off a number of different locations in the north side that they wanted to access. You can see those indicated by yellow dots on the map. Places like Northside High School, and there are 2 community centers and a library, and particularly there's a Walmart there, and technically just outside of our service area is the Department of Public Safety, the driver's license office. So those were a lot of the places that people wanted to connect to, including and also the Northside train station. So what we're proposing to do is that since a zip zone is much more flexible and would be capable of connecting all of these locations, then what we'd like to do is replace Route 45 with a new north side zip zone, serving additional areas between Northside Drive and 25th Street. Also serving TCC Northwest, the Northside Station, and particularly Tex Rail.
May I ask? What is that cutoff street, those, besides Northside Drive and 25th? What are the other cutoff streets, the main streets, I guess?
So it'd be Northside Drive on the south. It would be Loop 820 and a little bit just beyond to TCC Northwest Campus on the north. Angle Avenue on the north east side. Jacksboro Highway on the southwest side. And then extending as far over to the Northside Station along 28th Street.
Thank you.
What kind of vehicle is currently being used in that location? Is it a Gillig?
It's a bus.
40-footer?
Yes.
Is at any one time ridership at capacity?
No.
This is on the far.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is on the far end of that ridership number graph that you saw.
So it's never at capacity? Virtually.
Yes, it's never even close to capacity on Route 45.
I have a question. And so these resources are going to be moved to other bus lines, is that correct?
Yes, as I mentioned, we're going to improve the Route 5 to 15 minutes frequency during the day. And so the resources that we're pulling from these routes will be moved to Route 5.
Excellent. So what additional resources will we need to help the zip zone service within these areas? Is that going to come with cost increases?
Yes, there's a slight cost increase because we're adding some resources to the zip zone, and those are outlined in the action item that Chad will bring up. Also, Route 66 is one of our express routes. It runs 2 trips in the morning and 2 trips in the evening. They're overlapping trips, so those are actually takes 2 buses to operate that route. But it's currently one of our lowest performing express routes. We had made a change to it and the system redesigned. It used to go up I-35, and we changed it to go up the Chisholm Trail Parkway because we believed that that would be a faster trip. Indeed, it's faster without the traffic, but the ridership did not respond to that change at all. And it does have other routes serving the same area. Route 6, 52, and 72 also serve about 80 or so percent of the area that Route 66 serves in the southwest. And so what we're recommending to do is to eliminate that route and use those resources on elsewhere. Again. Oops. All right, Route 23 is another route that we operate between the Trinity Lake Station and the Tarrant County College Northeast Campus. So we've obligated to Tarrant County College District that we're going to maintain connectivity to all of the colleges. But this route, it has a bus that's out there all day, and it often runs empty. And so what we're looking at doing here is through our new zip zone contract, they have an option where they can serve those trips through what they call non-dedicated transit network companies, which basically means it's like a lift type situation, but students would actually reserve their trip on our Zip Zone app or through GoPass, just like any other Zip Zone, and a vehicle would show up and take them to the class or back to the station. And so it's much less expensive to pay per trip, given that we're only doing maybe 6 to 7 trips a day on that bus route. Also, we're looking at the Dash. The Dash was created actually just prior to COVID. It was a project that was inspired by Blue Zones to promote healthy lifestyles in the downtown and West 7th districts, which are higher density, mixed use. The idea was to try and get people to walk to bus stops, use of their bicycle, put on the bus, and use transit rather than driving between downtown and West 7th Street. We launched just prior to COVID. Ridership, it was kind of interrupted. Our growth was interrupted by the COVID pandemic. And then after the COVID had kind of subsided, then ridership just never continued to grow again. It never even got back to its launch levels. It competes with Route 2. Route 2 goes along mostly the same corridor. And so given that, some of our funding partners chose to discontinue. And so what we're looking at doing is maybe repurposing those electric vehicles for downtown Molly service.
Wait, I have a quick question on that. Will anything kind of replace servicing the cultural district, kind of like Molly does for downtown, but kind of a cultural district loop feeder or something?
No, not at this time. We're looking at, we have Route 2 that does go straight through the cultural district.
Right, but then to get you down Montgomery and kind of back east and west, I don't know.
No, right now we're not proposing,
okay.
We're not proposing any replacement for the Dash at this time. Another change that we were recommending is on the south side zip zone. We heard from a lot of people in the eastern portions about how it's difficult to get from the areas north and there's north to south. We don't have a whole lot of bus routes between Oakland and Riverside. And so it's difficult for people to access the Walmart neighborhood market from points north. And so we looked at this and said we can make a very small extension at no cost to the south side zip zone to include the Sycamore Heights neighborhood. And we've also looked at Route 15. Route 15 serves the Stockyards, North Main area, and the area is growing. There's lots of new development, lots of hotels, and we want to promote the tourism industry and try to, help get people to visit Fort Worth and not rent cars to get here. So because of the extended nightlife in the Stockyards area and the new hotels, what we're looking at doing is just extending our service in the evening so that we have higher frequency a little bit later in the evening and also 1 hour later at night. We've changed that already for the weekends, but what we'd like to do now is extend it for the weekdays as well. So whenever we make major service changes like these, We have to always be vigilant of unintended consequences for the civil rights. Not that we're ever going to do anything intentionally to discriminate, but sometimes changes happen that you know, despite our best intentions, kind of left people out. So we always do a Title VI analysis to look at the minority and low-income people, the different neighborhoods that are going to be affected. And so we've done our analysis, and yes, routes 23, 28, 45, and 66, which we're proposing to discontinue, are in low-income minority neighborhoods. We're taking those same resources and adding them to Route 5, which is also in a low-income minority neighborhood. And then also to mitigate some of those impacts, we're doing the North Side Zip Zone and the Sycamore Heights extension on the East Side Zip Zone. And then kind of contrarily, it's the dash, because the dash would be eliminated as well. That's actually, the dash actually serves a non-minority and higher income area. And so in the analysis, it kind of balances out. Yeah, that one went fast. We've also got one more change to look at is the Alliance Zip Zone. It's not so much a change to the zip zone, but just a change to the way that it's being run. So in our new service, we have a new contractor that's coming on board during the summer that will take over the service that's currently offered through a Lyft. And much like throughout 23, we'll be having passengers in that zip zone to use the regular Zip Zone app or the GoPass app to summon their trip rather than the Lyft app, and the similar hours as well. So really it's just going to be change of the mode of operation rather than a change to the boundaries or the hours or anything. And so those are all the changes that we have proposed for the upcoming fall service changes. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Chad, unless anybody has any more questions.
One question. So just going back to page 5, Route 113, and I'm sorry, I haven't memorized all the bus routes yet. That's our lowest one. Why didn't we consider chopping that one as well?
So Route 113 is actually that is the shuttle that runs between Sundance Square, and there's 3 buildings around Burnett Plaza. And we actually have a contract where the management of that, they actually contribute the cost of that route.
Great, if we're not paying for it, then sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Do we have any other questions for Mr. Dupler?
Sorry, I do have
Any other questions?
I do. Just, when will we analyze these again to see what the impact of the change?
So we usually give it about a year to a year and a half before we start considering any changes again to it.
So at one point, we were considering bans for some of these routes. Is that sort of given way to the zip zone concept, or is that still on the table in the future?
There's still that evaluation that's being done right now on right-sizing the vehicles for the particular routes. These were opportunities for us to make changes at this particular time for the fall.
Mr. Chairman, we can come back at a subsequent meeting. Wayne Gensler has been spearheading a right-sizing of the fleet in terms of what that looks like, and then what additional changes to the HRP bus complex will be needed to support the new fleet.
So, Mr. Chairman, if you would, go ahead and open the public hearing for comments. We'll hear those comments, and then you can close the public hearing, and then I'll come back for the motion.
At this time, I would like to open the public hearing on the proposed service changes for fall of 2024. I have one card from an Ashton Smith. Is Ashton Smith present? Please come forward. I believe your address is 2901 Ray Street in Fort Worth.
You can come around this way. Oh. Yeah, it's tight. How you doing? Good. Again, 3 minutes. I'll go ahead and start it. Okay?
Thank you, brother.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you. Well, I'm glad to be here today. My name is Ashton Smith, and I saw on the news where a driver of a train, we'll call him a conductor, he was almost killed by someone. I don't know if he was homeless or what have you, but my proposal is that we step up security to keep people safe on public transit and buses and that kind of stuff. I've written all over the place, New York, some of the largest cities in America, and they have proposed to spend millions of dollars to fund security for people who need it, especially those who drive trains and those who work late at night. We got to make sure people aren't robbed for what they have, that kind of stuff. I look at that because I want to make sure that I am safe when I ride public transportation. And so these are things that I think about. I also read the packet that you guys give me. I actually scan it into a machine and it reads it, so I can read all that in seconds probably with the machine. The reason that I look at that as well is low-income communities and those who are affected. We should look at how they're affected and why we need more buses in those areas. I did look at that as well, including in New York. Most people who ride the bus are low income. Most rich folks and folks who've got money to pay for transportation, including myself, I pay for things like Uber, Lyft, but I will ride the bus because it'll help me get an idea of those who are affected. And so we really want to make sure that we are doing a good job to make sure those who are poor can also to continue to afford this service and to be able to ride it. I know the price changes may affect those who are on a fixed income or those who are on Social Security living on an income of $981 a month in an economy like this. So I've also proposed maybe some changes to where some stuff can be privatized so you guys can get more funding because you're a government agency. There's a lot of companies and things that can't fund for religious reasons or other reasons. These are things that I think about that affect people who ride. And so I just want us to be safe when we ride this public transportation. And I'll continue to ride it regardless of how much money I make. I still like riding the bus because it saves me $188 going to the airport and stuff. So keep up the good work, guys. I'm proud of you guys doing the right thing and making sure people have what they need. I'm grateful to be here because I know that I'm a part of the bus stop cleanup program, and I'm grateful for that program being integral to people who want it, being there for people who want to use it. And so I'm grateful to maintain and keep up the work with these bus stops and report what's broken or what's not. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are great people. Continue to do great work and help people who are poor because we'll continue to ride. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all, man.
Chairman, I actually have a question. Is it too late to ask a question? Okay. On Route 28, I see that you're proposing to close that route and use the existing zip zone. My question is, the price different from the zip zone and the route, and also the communication piece for those people knowing that they would.
So the price, if you buy a day pass, there is no difference in price. And you'll actually, it'll be more clear next month when I give the presentation on the fare changes, because we're, and you can kind of see it already in the packet that you have, is that all the fares will be coming together into one, so it's a lot simpler to use. So right now, if you buy a day pass, there isn't a change for that. If that helps answer your question. Yes? Okay.
Yeah, how about he also asks the information side of it. How do you?
The information side, yes. So we'll be putting out some information through marketing to communicate to the bus riders that the route is going to go away, so that they know to transition over to the zip zone. What's that?
If I could
we'll
just
use envoys as well on the bus to help communicate that as well.
Yeah, Chris, what's going to happen is that right now we have lots of fare price points for different services. Next month, one fare does it all. So what's going to happen is you're going to hear a proposal that we're not going to have train fares and bus fares and zip zone fares. It's a fare, whatever fares in your pocket will work on any service. So that's sort of the unveil next month, and we wanted more time to look at the economic impact of that.
Thank you.
And part of the communication is once the board approves, we can start moving out on that communication piece so that everybody understands what the changes are going to be happening in fall. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would just, when you do get that, I think we should let us have a presentation on the communication piece as well, and then allow, being the ability that I sit on council, we want to be able to put out that information because, believe it or not, they come to council for everything, transportation, county, and so it'd be good that we'll be able to help communicate that piece because that is a highly, I see it's low rider, but it's still highly used in that area.
Sure. Yeah, we'll do that. So.
On the proposed changes that you have that are going to zip zone, will the frequency of the zip zone availability be equivalent to what they're experiencing today?
It'll actually be better. If you're talking about the north side, it'll be better.
Yes. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that there's not going to be an delay. Okay.
No, this is a great opportunity to share the story. So there's a gentleman that came to the Stockyards public meeting, and he was a little worried about shifting from the bus over to the zip zone. The bus is every 60 minutes, and we talked to him about you'll have availability of the zip zone. It'll be available to you every 12 minutes. So you can get that zip zone in about 12 minutes, and it'll not have to ride you around the entire area. It'll take you to that point. So, and then afterwards we heard from an envoy that he actually he bought a smartphone, downloaded the GoPass app, and now is a convert really to zip zone. So that worked out pretty well for us. So that's a testament to Dietrich's envoys. Yes. So if you would, sir, go ahead and close the public hearing, and then I'll do the board action.
Do we have any other comments for the public hearing? I see no other hands. This public hearing is closed. Now we can move forward with BA 2024-23.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you heard all the opportunities that Phil went through on the changes that we have planned for the September 15th, 2024 service changes, which we also call the fall service changes. There was a question earlier about the changes and the cost of those, and in your board action item under financing, you'll see that these changes result in actually a savings of $64,000, $64,132 for Trinity Metro. So yes, we are reallocating these resources, buses, operators to the appropriate locations in these changes so that we don't have an increase in expenses. So the recommendation today is that the Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorizes the President and CEO to implement the recommended changes to be effective September 15th, 2024.
Do we have any discussion? Any more discussion? If none, I'll accept motion by Ben. Second. And a second by Teresa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
You, Chad. All right, I believe we've heard from Mr. Smith, which is sort of a hybrid of citizen comment as well as the changes. Are there anyone else that would like to make a citizen comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the important Fort Worth Transportation Authority Scholarship Fund recipients, which is a fun moment for us every year.
It's my favorite part too. All right, well, good afternoon. I'm Christina Champion, Director of Human Resources. Each year, the Fort Worth Transportation Authority Scholarship Fund awards are offered to help defray college expenses at accredited nonprofit educational institutions. The committee awards scholarships based on academic achievement tied to the overall cumulative GPA, which cannot be below 2.5. The scholarships is available to employees, their legal dependents, and spouses. So I am excited to announce the 24-25 scholarship recipients. We have a few of them here, so I do ask that y'all stand as I say your names so that you can be recognized. This year, we awarded 9 scholarships and received 9 for a total of $22,000. Sarah Brown, daughter of Jeff Brown, Director of Safety and Risk. Sarah is attending Tarleton as a nursing major and was awarded $2,750. Latamara Buggs, spouse of Lonnie Buggs, Revenue Service Agent. Latamara is attending Dallas College as an education major and was awarded $1,750. Michaela Carson is the daughter of bus operator and steward Michelle Small. Michaela will attend the University of Texas at Arlington, majoring in public health, and was awarded $2,500. Chance Humphreys is a bus operator and line instructor and began working with Trinity Metro in June of 2017. Chance is attending Tarrant County College as a computer science major and was awarded $3,000. Priscilla Mombe, daughter of Ngobo Mombe, service planner. Priscilla is attending Northwest Arkansas Community College as a nutrition major and was awarded $2,500. And Hassan Salih is a bus operator and began working with Trinity Metro in June of 21. Hassan is attending Abilene Christian University for cybersecurity and was awarded $2,250. Aaron Segay, son of Petros Segay, bus operator. Aaron is attending Texas Tech for general studies. Aaron was awarded $3,000. And Jonathan Segay, son of Petros as well, bus operator. Jonathan is attending the University of North Texas as a computer science major and was awarded $2,750. And lastly, Allison Wise. Daughter of proud mother, LaShonda Carter, one of our lead custodians. Allison is attending Oral Roberts for nursing and was awarded $1,500. So I just want to congratulate all the recipients. I also want to thank the board for your continued support. And announce that this year's golf tournament will be held at the Cowboys Golf Club in Grapevine. Woo! More information to come. Okay.
Yes, if we could, board members, if we could gather in front of the dais here for a photo with the award winners.
Oh, I'm just...
Couple comments. And if I may, I'd like to thank Christina for her and her committee's efforts with the annual golf tournament. Always a great event. Congratulations to our recipients. And I'm like a proud papa because Hassan was my mentee a few years ago. So congratulations.
Thank you, Tito. Do we have any comments? You know, all the money we make as board members goes to the scholarship fund, that $1.50 an hour we get, and it's
You get $1.50 an hour? Well, I don't get that much.
That's because it goes to the scholarship fund.
I'm $1.50.
So it's my pleasure at this moment to recognize two former board members that I served with for years and years, and they're doing other things now. In fact, both of them have been appointed to the Urban Rail Committee by the mayor. And I want to read a certificate for Nicolo Genua and Charles, and it's pretty much the same, so you kind of have to. Charles, you guys here?
Yep. Nick is here. Nick and Charles both.
Oh, Charles there too.
Come on up.
Yes.
Come on down.
Please. Many hours, many meetings. Stand right in front. Stand right in front.
Nick,
right
down.
there, right there. Oh, you stand right there. Thank you. Oh, okay. It is a certificate of appreciation and very deeply felt and meant. The voters of Fort Worth established the Fort Worth Transportation Authority, Trinity Metro, on November 8, 1983, to provide public transportation within the city of Fort Worth and other areas. Whereas Trinity Metro's Board of Directors for establishment policy and sets the strategic direction of the company, and whereas Nicolo Genua has served on the Board of Directors from September 2017 to February 2024, and whereas Charles Edmonds has served on the Commuter Rail Committee, Planning, Operation, and Marketing Committee, and served as chair as Trinity Railway Express Advisory Committee, and whereas his devotion and dedication have earned him the esteem of fellow board members, Trinity Metro staff, business partners, and the entire community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of Trinity Metro that the Board of Directors publicly commends and gratefully acknowledges its deep appreciation to Nick Genua for his many years of service and for Charles for his many years of service and contribution to the advancement of public transportation. Accepted and adopted by the Board. Thank you.
Get the two of you close together there, and then we'll come around and take another photo.
Okay, we'll come around.
Before we take another photo, tell you what the pleasure has been to serve on the board. I was here for several milestones of progress, as you know, over the course of 5 years. And I want you to know that September, I'll start my 37th year on city boards and commissions. And so I want to thank three people before we take a picture. One, I want to thank Jeff Davis. Jeff and I have served together in various capacities for 50 years. 50 years. And the second person I'd like to thank is Rich Andreski. When Rich applied for the job of CEO, I knew the day I met him that he was the man for that job. And he has put together a great staff, great support group, and he's done a great job. And I want to thank him for that. And the third person is, as I celebrate this 36th year of service, I started with, I'm serving in September, on November, I guess. It'll be my 35th anniversary with my wife Elaine. And I'd like for her to stand and be recognized.
Well, first of all, let me say I support everything that Charles said. But I've got a few just words I'd like to say. I have been blessed to work for and been exposed to a number of impressive entities throughout my life. And while they had a variety of different leadership styles, one thing the exceptional ones all had in common was the it factor. It is hard to describe, but when you see it, you know it, and Trinity Metro has it. The collaboration between the board, management, and the Trinity Metro team has led to tremendous success over the past years, and all of the truly miracle accomplishments are significantly impacted by the it factor that thrives here. Most of all, you have positioned yourself, or positioned Trinity Metro, I should say, to continue the growth and development of public transit in Fort Worth. I am supremely confident that under Rich's and others' leadership, and the application of skill sets of all the Trinity Metro team, you have the expertise, attitude, and it to carry on. I'm really going to miss you. Know that you have set the standard and the culture for success. You need to embrace the principles that have led to this point, and all will be fine. One time under budget for a $1 billion public works project, that is an anomaly for the age. I could say so much more, but let me close by saying thank you. Your it has led this agency to great heights. It has been a gift serving with you, and with no hesitation whatsoever, I would do it again.
Okay. Getting back to this agenda after that fun with Nick and Charles, we have some presentations. The first is on the Vanpool update. You don't look like Mark.
I know. It's a lot of, I know. Lots of fun stuff happening. Good afternoon, board members. I'm Deetra Whitmore, Vice President of Community Engagement. And Trinity Metro has a successful Vanpool program that's been in existence since 1984. And we're now serving 10 counties and sharing one with Denton County Transit Authority. Our services are really helping to connect people to jobs. The growth of our program is really through the collaboration, partnerships with Commute with Enterprise and also the North Central Texas Council of Governments. So I've asked Mark Pinson, manager of Commute with Enterprise, to come and give a presentation on how well our program is doing and where we're going in the future. Mark?
First of all, I'd like to thank Deetra for the invite. I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to come to speak to you. Knowing Deetra, you probably haven't heard much about the Vanpool program, but to say the least, it is one of the jewels of Trinity Metro and the agency. So it is my pleasure and my honor to give you more information about the program overall. So. Okay. So we'll go over a few program matrix, environmental impact, excuse me, as well as update and opportunities, which is vast in your area. As Deetra said, There we go. So the numbers I'll be giving you today is from fiscal year 23. Later in the presentation, I will go back and give you more information about earlier fiscal years. But for fiscal year 23, Trinity Metro van pool program averaged 183 vans. During that fiscal year, and that fiscal year only, there was over 12 million passenger miles that was calculated, as well as over $2 million in estimated funding return back to the agency and to the program. Okay? Environmental impact. So of that 183 vans, there was over 9 million commuter miles reduced. And again, this is just a van pool program off of those 183. Trips eliminated off the road, nearly 285,000 within the 10 counties that we'll see here later on, as well as just under 7 million in emissions reduced, CO2 emissions reduced. So these numbers are very great and very proud numbers that you should all be proud of, because this really says a lot about the agency as far as what you're doing, bless you, and what your reach is, you know, to the public, and the things that we're doing to make our area a better area. So as we stated earlier, there's a lot of opportunity, right, for the van pool program. While we're at 183, as Deetra always says, we can do better, right? So we're going to continue to do that. And expanding, we have two areas of focus. The first area is Alliance Airport area. Nearly 600 companies, 575, with over 66,000 employees. And I apologize, the goal for FY25 is not 4, but 14 for that area. As a typo as far as I didn't do that. I'm getting old, so you got to excuse me. And then the second one is the inland port area. We picked one area to really focus on, one in Tarrant County and one in Dallas County of the 10 counties. As you can see, that is a lot of territory to cover. But with the help of Deetra and her team and the envoys, as well as Melissa and the marketing team, we're really being able to focus in and hone in on areas in which there's no train or bus line to introduce van pool to. Because that's what it's all about. That's where we subsidize. Van pool is a substitution for the areas that do not have those modes of transportation. For the inland port in the Dallas area, with 120 companies, as you can see, as well as over 17,000 employees, we have a fiscal year goal of 10 for that area. Again, as Deetra reminds me each and every month in our meeting, the goal is just a goal. We expect to exceed it each and every time. This is where we're currently at, and I think that it's very important to kind of step back and see, you know, talk about fiscal year 21, which is not up here. In fiscal year 21, the van pool during COVID time, we had 57 van pools. By the end of fiscal year 22, as you can see in blue, we was up to 161. Fiscal year 23, which I just said, was at 183. And then currently we have 193 with 4 months left. We very much anticipate being over 200 van pools by the end of the fiscal year. To really show you how strong the program is here in Trinity Metro, please take a look. I think there was only 2 months out of the 36 months plus of 3 fiscal years in which we took a step back. And that step back was no more than 4 van pools due to terminations, whether it's retirement, van pools consolidating into one, so we necessarily did not lose the ridership, but we, went down a van, maybe they got into a larger van. So only 2 months out of that time frame is very, very impressive type of deal. Obviously, we're going to look at new accounts. Right now, the VA hospital in Duncanville, and that's one of the 10 counties, obviously. That was actually found by a current customer who works at the VA hospital in Dallas, coming out of Arlington, and they'll be transferring to this location, which just opened up in the month of April. So another opportunity for us to grow there. And then in discussions, obviously, as I said earlier, about the Alliance area, JCPenney and Amazon. The 4 largest accounts that we have with Trinity Metro Vanpool include Lockheed Martin, Bell Helicopter. The number 2 largest is Bureau of Prisons in Grand Prairie, and runaway hands down, the largest is the VA hospital. So surprisingly. So we not only, provide a great service, but as you can see, it's to the first responders as well. Probably 85% of the ones going to the VA hospitals are nurses and doctors that we provide to. So. Questions?
Questions, comments?
Good, thank you. Thank you for the time. Thank you, Deidre.
All right, now we're moving into the minutes of the last meeting. I'll accept a motion for approval of the minutes.
Motion.
We have a motion.
Seconded.
And we have a second to approve the minutes of April 15. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Now we'll go to some information items and reports, starting with Reed.
Good afternoon, board members. I'm Reed Lanham, the Vice President of Rail here at Trinity Metro. I'm going to give you a brief overview of April for our rail systems, as well as our long-term parking on TexRail. I know it's been a few months since we've had an update on that, and be glad to share those numbers with you this month. Does my clicker work? It does work. All right, first up, we've got TexRail. For the month of April, we saw another very strong ridership month in April. We had a record April for TexRail again with over 60,000 passengers, 60,722 to be exact. That's a 16% increase year over year from last April. And currently on TexRail, we are 80,789 riders above where we were at this same point last year. So again, we're seeing very strong ridership numbers on TexRail. And excited about that. That's been a huge team effort. The marketing folks have done a great job helping us out there. I'm sure you guys have noticed the new names on the trains that we've got out there, and that's been great as far as driving awareness. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the public on that, so we're looking forward to see what kind of increases we can get from programs like that. Our on-time performance, speaking of records, we had a bit of a record in on-time performance, but not the one we want to set. We came in at 95.4% for the month of April. That was in extremely large part due to the derailment of the Fort Worth and Western cars that we had up by Northside. If it weren't for that derailment, we would have come in well above goal at 98.4%. And currently, we are working with Fort Worth and Western, our engineering department, on ways to prevent those impacts in the future. So we are actively seeking ways to mitigate any future occurrences. Safety on TexRail, again, as you guys know, and I never get tired of reporting this, and I hope you never get tired of hearing it, but TexRail, we pride ourselves on safety, being safe and reliable. We are currently 2,302 days without an injury with our transportation and signal divisions. Maintenance away has got another very impressive number at 1,372, and our maintenance of equipment continues on at 217. We performed a successful maintenance shutdown last week. I just want to give you guys a quick update. We were able to accomplish a massive amount of required maintenance work in a 24-hour period. We know that that can sometimes be an inconvenience, but it is a definite necessity to keep our system running like it needs to run. Switching over to TRE. Oh, we're already there on TRE. Okay. Our TREs had a very good month as well. We saw a 20% increase in ridership on TRE year over year, 112,606 passengers. And we're also 67,000 passengers above where we were last year on TRE. So again, all across our rail modes, we're seeing a positive trend in ridership. Our on-time performance was very high with 98.4%. The TRE team has done a great job with working with the current fleet that we have and knowing that help is on the way with our new locomotives that we just purchased with our partners at DART. But 98.4% is very commendable. We have seen a big increase in our game trains. I don't know if you guys are Mavs and Stars fans, but if you're not, life's pretty sad right now for you if you're not. We hope that they continue on because the numbers we've seen have been pretty significant on those game trains, and the longer they go, the better it is for us as well. So, let's see. My next item would be the long-term parking. Uh-oh. I'm going to point it at you, Christine. Okay, I'll give you some quick long-term parking numbers. Just for last year at this time, at the end of April, we had 725 transactions for long-term parking. As of last month for this year in 24, we're at 1,033, which is a 29% increase. This has been a very successful program for us. We're seeing increases month after month. The trends have stayed the same generally over the past couple of years that we've had this, with TNP is always towards the top, but the two North Richland Hill stations are pretty close, second and third. We see a lot of good numbers out of that. So this is something we definitely want to continue, and we see a huge benefit in that. And as the public becomes more and more aware of it, they are utilizing it. So it's been a successful program.
What did the airport go up to parking-wise in the last week or two?
You know, I'm not sure, just because I generally tell everyone it's $5 a day, long-term parking on TexRail, and I couldn't tell you the last time I even attempted to park at the airport.
Anybody
so.
know, like $30 a day?
Chad's Googling it. Give him a second.
So Mr. Chairman, I'm on the website right now.
Oh, Chad got shown up.
I can tell you it's significantly more than what we charge.
Long-term parking at the terminals is $27 per day.
Whew. Oh, thank you.
Oh, short-term is even more expensive.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's keep promoting that.
You got it. And with that, that's the rail report for the month of April. Is there any questions? All right. Thank you.
Wayne, operations, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Board. Wayne Gensler, Chief Operations Officer. We'll see if we can get this to work. So as the last meeting we were involved in, Teresa had an idea of giving an update on zip zones for everybody could have a reminder of what zip zones are. And for the new board members, they get a flavor of what's been going on and what's the history of zip zones with Trinity Metro, which will soon be rebranded to Trinity Metro On Demand. All right, so what is Zip Zones? Zip Zone is an on-demand rideshare service that is supplemental to our fixed route services and, of course, TexRail and rail, so that where they are, we put the zones together around rail stations and bus stops. And we first launched our first Zip Zone, technically speaking, in Alliance in early 2019. That Zip Zone was first funded by NCT COG, and it was operated by MV Transit at first. In 2019, the COG came to us and asked if we would take over because MV was pulling out, so we got into an agreement with DCTA on lift services for the Alliance Zone. The additional zones came as follows. Mercantile was next. We opened that the same year, and then the Southside Zip Zone, then South Tarrant, and last but not least, Southeast Tarrant. You also heard tonight, earlier this afternoon, a little bit about future zip zones as well. So they're going to be Mansfield, and they're going to join us this summer, July 14th. The North Side Zip Zone, which will be later on a service change. TCC Northeast, which is the campus on demand service that we're going to provide as well. And then hours and area vary based on community needs. Each zone has a different need, so each zone has different operating hours. Our two most extensive zip zones with the most ridership is Alliance and Southside. They vie for the #1 position on monthly ridership, somewhere in the neighborhood of 9,000 rides per month. So it's fast growing. People have learned how to use the system, whether they're using the on-demand GoPass app or the ZipZone app that is given to us by VIA. You can also book rides via the GoPass and ZipZone app, like I said, and the phone. You could have a customer care phone line number that you can also utilize to book your trip. Oops. All right. I'm showing you real quick the two different apps. This is the app provided by VIA. If you go on your app store and you download the ZipZone app, that's what you'll get. It's very much like ordering an Uber and very simple to use. It's also integrated in GoPass. You can use GoPass to purchase the same ticket and get the same information about what ZipZone you want to take, or how you can connect to a bus, or how you can connect to rail, or what options you have. Actually, in the GoPass app, it gives you options so you can pick and choose. Maybe you don't want to wait 42 minutes for a bus, but you're willing to wait 27 minutes for a ZipZone. You did hear earlier, ZipZones are guaranteed within 12 minutes. So they generally fall in about 8 to 10 minutes, but 12 minutes is what we have contracted for. Fares, we talked a little bit about fares tonight, which is going to be later on next month, but this is the current fare structure that you currently have when you utilize ZipZone. A single ride is $3. There is no reduced fare on a single ride. What you can see, and what Chad pointed out earlier, is your best option is a day pass at $5. You could ride all day long and get on and off any ZipZone, any bus, any train. So absolutely the best option if you were purchasing a all-day fare. So go to the ridership. You can see all the years that we have here. Again, you heard it started in 2019, so ridership was even lower than the 6,000 you see in FY21. But you could see the ridership growth over the years, 6,234 all the way up in fiscal year 24, currently 156,107 rides. The ridership keeps on booming. When we move on demand all into one program, you're going to see close to 60,000 rides a month in both programs. So it is a huge driver of our success. When we did a survey of our customers that are utilizing ZipZone, nearly half of them were new to transit. And we expect that to continue to move forward. I do have a board action later on with regards to the vehicles that you were talking about, so I can show you what we're looking at and intending for ZipZones. Net cost per ride, we always look at this number. It's always pretty eye-opening. Every one of them starts high, as you can see on the left side of the graph. And as time goes on and ridership increases, as long as we're not increasing revenue hours, we're reducing our cost per ride. Alliance is the cheapest. You're going to say, well, why is that? That's because we're utilizing Zip. It's not a dedicated service. And so it is cheaper, but in the long run, we really are driving service, and what we're going to go to in Alliance is where there's going to be a fare paid by the customer. We're going to heavily market it through the marketing department and try to reach out to all those 9,000 rides that are taken in Alliance, so we maintain those rides. The cost per ride will go up a bit because the contract that we currently have is going to be higher than the Alliance Lyft service, but it's going to be more reliable and something that we're really excited about because it'll connect with our Alliance Express bus service that we're going to introduce later in FY25 or early 26. So those are the cost per rides. Again, they go down as you increase ridership. We have not increased the revenue hours, so that's why we're seeing those great numbers.
In the mercantile service, $31, that's been a longer-term experiment. Has that been steady, $31?
Yeah, I mean, it fluctuates up and down a little bit, up and down from 31 to into the high 20s. But that one is really, it's run Monday through Friday. We don't do weekend service, and we don't tweak the hours up. We haven't tweaked them down though either. So we could take a look at it and see if there needs to be some adjustment to it. It is a well-performing zone. It's just you want to have a minimum amount of service so you can keep the 12-minute coverage. So. So just do a quick, brief overview. I know this is a busy board meeting, but just so everybody understands what the zones are. Here's the Alliance Zone. You can see some of the points of interest: Texas Motor Speedway, Perot Field, Fort Worth Alliance Airport, Alliance Town Center, where a lot of the action goes, at Buc-ee's, and the North Park and Ride. So people are utilizing our express services. We expect to utilize it more when we move the mobility hub, but people are utilizing it to go to work. And as I said, we're at 9,000 rides last month, and it was just something not anticipated. We have 417 average daily riders on that service. Oh, sorry, I passed one. Here's Mercantile for you. It started July 22nd, 2019. We expanded March 1st, 2021. The average square miles is 20.4 square miles. Hours are Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. It really has tried to meet the business needs of the business park there. So that's why you see the hours that you see. We do also, as I said, like to keep a minimum amount of service so it could meet the service guarantee of 12 minutes. Some points of interest: Walmart Supercenter, Medical City Alliance, Meacham Airport, Tex Rail Station, Northside, and Mercantile. Average ridership is 99 daily riders, Monday through Friday. Zip zone overview of South Tarrant. South Tarrant was created in June 1st of 2020. It included Crowley only at the time. We expanded June 1st of 2021, adding in Everman and renamed it South Tarrant. The area square mile is 30.3 square miles. It's a lot of rural area as well. We start off very low ridership in that area, but we do continue to see growth there. Monday through Friday are the hours of service, 7A to 7P. Points of interest are Crowley, City of Everman, Tarrant County College campus, and then south of McAllister Square. Much of the rides are the TCC campuses that we take people to, and average ridership is 55 riders per day.
Sorry, what is the that goes off far southwest? Is that to get to Chris's house or?
I think it is.
Or Grandma's house? Is that Grandma's?
There was a little point of interest there that we wanted to cover, and so.
I'm just kidding. No, it's not. But what was the point? What is there that we would do that offshoot?
What is that again, Chad? Do you remember? Is it the?
It's just north of Sam's Club.
Walmart?
The Walmart, okay.
Well, we always try to connect everything into a Walmart because everybody likes going to Walmart, so. Yeah, or the VA Center, so I'm not sure which one it is. But anyway.
Do we have an idea of what a daily rider's number of trips per day is?
When you look at the average, I mean, when they get on, generally they're getting on and off and do two, but it's closer to three. And the reason why it's three, you go, and why three? Well, they could take rail or bus. So they are connecting. Most of our riders are purchasing day passes. So we really can't see, we know that they utilize them, but we don't have like tap cards in the vans. Maybe one day we'll move there, but on the bus, obviously, we can follow what they're doing. Not so much on the zip zones because we don't have that technology in the vans. Southside, again, it's the one that generally wins the ridership contest every month. On occasion, Alliance wins, but it started June 19, 2020, expanded May 1st, 2021. It's 10.6 square miles. It's south of downtown, obviously. Hours are Sunday through Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to midnight. Obviously to take care of the entertainment district in West 7th area. Many of the university students, whether it be Texas Wesleyan University or Texas Christian University, utilize the system. They are heavy users of the system. Points of interest, obviously, is TCU, Fort Worth Botanic Gardens, Medical District, Magnolia Avenue, Fort Worth Zoo, West 7th Corridor,
Is that because they're going to the library or something?
I think they're going to the library. Interestingly enough, you could see students taking trips to job sites, so hospitals, whatnot. You could tell that people are going and utilizing the service for jobs. And then ridership, there's 554 average daily riders in the south side zip zone. So by far one of the best performing zip zone we have, and lowest cost, as you saw. And then last but not least, it was our last one we opened, zip zone overview of Southeast. The start date was June 1st, 2022, 9.6 square miles. You heard with the Route 28 going away, this will be the mode of choice. Obviously, it'll be the only choice in that area, but it can be well served with zip zone, and actually, if you're going to be getting a trip within 12 minutes, I think people will enjoy that. We have seen steady growth in that zone. Not as fast as we would like it. We're going to really inundate it with marketing and make sure that we grow that zone, because it also included Forest Hill. If you recall, when we did another expansion, we added in Forest Hill. And we really have, on a per capita basis, a good ridership base in Forest Hill, and they love the service and they can get to where they want to go, which is generally Walmart. But other places of interest they can get to, including the medical district if they connect at Sierra Vista, but the other two places are the two colleges, Southeast and South, TCC, Southeast and South. So anyways, points of interest I just mentioned. There's also the Southeast, or the Tarrant County Resource Connection people like to go to, in the Fort Worth VA clinic. And the average daily riders currently is at 78 daily. Last but not least, we're going to expand our overview to Mansfield, July 15th. Sorry, I said the 14th, but it's the 15th, 36.8 square miles. Hours will be Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They are funded 80-20% with the NCD COG grant for the first year of the pilot, likely the second year as well, and potentially the third year. After that time, the funding will come from Mansfield. Points of interest are Tarrant County College campuses, Southeast, downtown historic Mansfield, Methodist Mansfield Medical District. We could connect to Arlington in this zone, which we'll be able to do, and we'll also be able to connect to the folks in Grand Prairie, because Grand Prairie has a connection within Mansfield at their medical district or their medical center. So we'll be able to connect people to Grand Prairie as well. So they'll have connections to TCC, Arlington, Grand Prairie, and ultimately Fort Worth. Here's the north side. You talked about it, Phil talked about it, so I won't review it too much, but you'll see hours Monday through Friday will be 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., and weekends will be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. North Side Station will be a key connection, TCC Northwest Campus, Walmart Supercenter, and Fiesta. Again, we heard our service is going to go to probably no more than 12 minutes, right? So it's really an upgrade in service. And then the on-demand that Phil also talked about will start September 16th, 2024. It'll replace the Route 23. Service will be available from Trinity Lake Station to Tarrant County College Northeast Campus, and hours will be Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so that's an update on Zip Zone, an overview of the services. It is one of our fastest growing, or our fastest growing service in Trinity Metro at this point in time. And when we move to Trinity Metro On Demand branding, it'll be somewhere very close to 60,000 rides a month that we'll be generating in the on-demand product. Any questions?
Remind me, the Zip Zone is site to site, or I guess point to point within its own zone. You're not jumping one zone to another zone.
We are not jumping one zone to the other zone. It is point to point or corner to corner sometime. So pickup could be corner, depends on how you request the trip. So if you're an elderly person or somebody's disabled and needs door-to-door service, you can get that. You indicate it on the app or when you call up, and you'll get that type of service. If not, it'll be a corner to, so if I get to a corner, you're sharing it with somebody, but if you were going to Tom Thumb or something like that, you'll get right to Tom Thumb. You won't go to a corner near Tom Thumb, right?
No, I was just going to thank you for this presentation, this update. It was very informative because we were just sitting here, Brian and I, looking at the extent that you can travel north is very impressive as far as south. So
It is.
thank you very much.
It's a great system now, and thank you for asking for an update. It was good for a review for everybody.
Wayne, is there a visual of all the zip zones?
On our website?
On one page on the site?
On the website?
And like it shows like all the, how close they are to each other?
Yeah, I mean, you could see them on our map, on our system map, and where they're at and how they're located. So some zip zones won't touch something, and you'll have to go to a transfer station or to a bus stop that'll take you there. But people can also, on the GoPass app, do a trip planning, and it'll give you how do you connect from zip zone to bus or zip zone to rail. That's the neat thing about GoPass and how they can see where the trip is on your trip planning.
Well, thanks very much. Very
Okay,
helpful.
great, thanks.
Melissa, marketing and communication. Okay. We have a stranger again.
Not Melissa.
While my name is not Melissa Chrisman, I will be giving you an update on the marketing and communications mid-year KPIs and metrics. My name is Brandon Poe. I'm the digital marketing manager, and I'm filling in for Melissa and Glenn as they're both out. All right. It appears I cannot go backwards. Oh, there we go. All right, we'll go ahead and kick things off with the marketing KPIs. Right now, we're at 107% year-to-date budgeted ridership, and that is equivalent to just under 200,000 rides. Right now, as of March, 3.9 million rides, and Q3, Q4 historically makes about 56% of that ridership, so I would like to see us hit our goal here by the end of September. GoPass, we are at 122% to goal. The downloads, ticket revenue is 99% to goal, and that is including the November 2023 promotion where we did totally fare-free for the entire month. And speaking of fare-free, this isn't in your packet, but I am pleased to tell you about our newest promotion, which is the Fare-Free First Fridays. That is going to launch June 7th and go through September 6th of this year. Now, I just mentioned we had a goal of 7.8 million rides by the end of this fiscal year. And so to support reaching that goal and to continue our celebration of our 40th anniversary, we'll be proposing free rides on all services the first Friday of each month from June to September through a one-day-only GoPass promo code. So you probably are well aware of the Fort Worth bike sharing promotion in which they do a fare-free First Friday, as they call it Friday, and that is through the Blue Zones project. Hopefully what we're wanting to see is an introduction to anybody that hasn't ridden transit before that removes the cost barrier for them, as well as motivates any existing low volume rider that may want to ride even more to get out and do that each first Friday of the month. We'll be communicating this effort through a ton of social media posts, but also our website's homepage, some media relations outreach with our communications director, Laura Hanna, and a comprehensive paid media campaign through our ad agency. As we wrap up on Friday, September 6th, hopefully we'll have those ridership reports by the 20th with any GoPass information in the following month. Back to our regularly scheduled content. Communications, which is handled by Laura Hanna, our Director of Communications, also enjoying a vacation right now. Some of those goals are national media with a 78% to goal, milestone local media, which is 281% to goal, with additional goals being to generate a minimum of $3 million monthly in the value of media placements, with that goal being met, generating a minimum of 50,000 monthly impressions with that goal being met. I don't know if you can see that. That's 276 million impressions. That's a whole lot. and then sending all planned customer communications no later than 2 weeks in advance, with that goal also being met. Now to jump forward to my favorite part, because my name's on it, which is digital marketing. Right now, our social media platform followers is 101% to goal, engagements at 164% to goal, and referral traffic to our website at 195% to goal. Some of those additional goals are to increase the use of stories on Facebook and Instagram to 6 per month, with that goal being met, maintaining an average open rate of email and text messages to 26%, with that goal also being met, and to maintain an average link click-through rate for all email and text messages of 1.2%, with that goal also being met.
One thing, you do really good stories. They're really easy to post, and I get a lot of good engagement just on my own personal Instagram, so thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm going to make sure I save that in the recording and keep it on repeat every morning. In the next page of your packet, page 112, you'll find some of our more popular posts here in the past, 6 months. I should say the most engaged content on social. The first one on the left right here is the announcement of TRE with respect to Richland Hills closing and Trinity Lake Station opening, as well as celebration of TexRail's 5th anniversary. On the next page of your packet, you will find another 2 pieces of content that had high engagement, and that is the how to reach Trinity Lake Station, as well as riding TexRail to the Parade of Lights. All right, we'll go ahead and move forward into the strategic partnerships KPIs, which is run through Nicole Adams and Josiah High, our strategic partnerships folks. Right now, our new partners are 121% to goal, TCC ridership, 103% to goal, and City of Fort Worth ridership at 157% to goal. Some of those additional goals are to attend a minimum of 2 community events each month and to develop and launch a custom Chamber of Commerce Easy Ride member benefits program with one of the 5 area chambers, with both of those goals being met. Were there any questions regarding the KPI metrics update before I move into the Name That Train? Nope. Perfect. All right. I'm sure you all remember in January we ran a contest, and it was called Name That Train in honor of TexRail's 5th anniversary. That kicked off on January 3rd and ran through January 31st, where we called the general public to send us their favorite name submissions, in which the winner would receive a 31-day local pass and a commemorative photo with their named train. We advertise this in a plethora of different ways, but just a few is the paid and organic social media posts, Fort Worth Star Telegram homepage takeovers, print and digital ads in Fort Worth Weekly, as well as Culture Map Fort Worth digital ads and promotional emails. Gov Delivery emails, GoPass event ads, seat drops, and TexRail TV were all handled internally by us. And in the next slide, we will see that we received over 1,000 name submissions. And obviously the winners are on the screen right now, but 10 finalists were selected from that 1,000 entries, in which we opened up a round 2 for another month, in which we received another 1,000 submissions of the favorite of the 10. The top 7 names were selected, and Brandon DeCapo, who's in the audience right now, I want to give a shout out to him. He designed a lot of these names and insignias that you see before you today. So
stand up so we can recognize.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite's probably Maverick, but I'm sure you all have your favorites. Publicity plan on the next slide was launched on May 14th, in which we notified the winners via email, and May 15th being a bunch of social media posts and stories that included the trains at different stations emblazoned with their new names. And a media release was also distributed to local contacts. And then sometime in the future, we will be getting together with the winners to schedule photo video sessions. Is there any questions about the contest or perhaps your favorite name of the train?
I have a comment.
Yes, Tito.
Brendan, of course, thank you to Melissa and the whole team for doing this. You know, for many months, I guess from the beginning of TexRail, I'd always be on the platforms, and especially when kids are there, and, you know, they were looking to see what train was coming up. Oh, it's not Spike. How come it doesn't have a name? So now I've been on the platform, actually this morning and a couple times, and kids are excited now. You know, I saw Ranger this morning, and I saw Maverick this morning, so I'm looking forward to seeing the other ones, and the kids are really excited about the fact that we now have names for all our trains, which was only meant to be. I mean, how can you not have a name? Unless you're a cow or a bull or something, and you don't want to name them because they're going off the pasture someday. But anyway, thank you to the team. Great publicity, great activity, and a lot of excitement out there in the naming contest. So thank y'all for making it a reality.
Absolutely. Thank you. Is there any other question or comment? Perfect. Thank you. That means I did a good job. Of course.
Okay, Nicole, we'll talk about the Easy Ride update.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
As you all know, I'm Nicole Adams, Strategic Partnership Manager of the Easy Ride program. This last quarter, we acquired 8 new organizations, and that was towards the end of April. We would like to welcome Northeast Tarrant County. Oh, sorry, I can't see that. There we go. Northeast Tarrant County Chamber of Commerce, Texas Christian University, Steer Fort Worth, Parent Pass, ACH Family and Child Services, Safe Haven, One Safe Place, and the Salvation Army. There we go. Ticket sales for February, as you can see, did skyrocket. Organizations purchased large quantities of the local day passes, and March remained pretty level, and it significantly increased in April. I appreciate that. During the last quarter, ticket revenue kind of ebbed and flowed, and in March, ticket revenue tapered a little bit as we encouraged our partners to, with the 40th anniversary promotions of the month, that was for those who do use GoPass, and they could gain 40% savings by purchasing the weekly passes. So if you look there to the lower left, it shows TCC ridership has increased by more than 1,000 rides from March to April. This task was achieved by a collaborative effort with TCC and the Easy Ride team, promoting and ensuring students have access to the invaluable resource that transportation provides. I know I've mentioned previously, earlier this year, that from the beginning of the year, we have been partnering with the City of Fort Worth to be a part of their new hire orientations and to also promote their transit benefit program that they provide, as well as Trinity Metro services. And we have seen their ridership completely soar. Ridership for this month has been 2,100. That was, we haven't seen that. It's been a few months or so. So they're consistently riding, and it's not just from their new hires, it's also from their tenured employees as well. So, the Easy Ride program has created and brainstormed new innovative ways to form partnerships that are very truly unique. Easy Ride is proud to have partnered with the Parent Pass app, which is the first of its kind to allow Fort Worth parents to access and rate local resources. Parent Pass users receive 25% savings on local day passes by using the GoPass app and are able to select events based on public transit options. We are also excited to announce that DFW Parking officially went live today with their Employee Transit Benefit Program. Actually, while I was sitting here, I got an update on the email, and they're excited. Everything went great. We had a little hiccup this morning, but everything went good, so they will be using our long-term parking lots and taking TexRail on in. DFW Airport Parking will utilize the GoPass app and distribute over 1,200 monthly passes to employees. This 5-year commitment is a combined effort of Trinity Metro and DFW Airport Parking to develop a transit benefit program that will serve their employees while increasing ridership, promoting transit, and being a useful resource. So as Brandon mentioned, one of the strategic partnerships KPIs was to develop and launch a custom Chamber of Commerce Easy Ride membership benefit program, which we were able to deliver on. I am pleased to announce that Trinity Metro has partnered with the Northeast Tarrant Chamber of Commerce to develop and will soon launch their custom Easy Ride membership benefit program. This strategic move adds additional value to the current robust chamber membership benefits while allowing the Easy Ride Partner Program to welcome over 1,200 businesses, bringing our partner count to over 1,300 partners. These significant partnerships emphasizes our dedication to excellence, and our eagerness to come together has been crucial to our collaborative achievements to create innovative, supportive partnerships while utilizing technology and transit for the future. That's all I have. Any questions?
Questions, comments? Keep going.
You want me to keep going?
Keep going harder. We need more.
I will. You know I'm competitive.
Thank you. Okay, Deidre, I believe community engagement.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Ferry Bright, Quality Review Manager. My responsibilities are to document and work with various departments to address all complaints and circle back with our customers. You hear every month about our complaints and how we measure them. This month, I would like to share with you the campaigns we have conducted, to help decrease the number of complaints. In order to do this, we do work well with the operation departments. If you would, please turn your attention to page 133, and I will report on the success of our campaigns. Our first quarter, starting in October, we focused on fixed route. Through the number of complaints we received, rude drivers rose to the top. So we titled this campaign, Welcoming Our Customers Aboard. During this time, we reminded our drivers to remember to welcome everyone who board the bus. By doing this, as you can see, the team super exceeded expectations with a 5% drop in this complaint. Moving over to the second quarter, I received complaints that our drivers were missing customers at stops. So we started our Pass By campaign, just to do another friendly reminder that our drivers to be aware of who was there. Also, with the help of operation, planning, and facilities teams, we started a 3-year project to install new shelters and lightings. It also has begun. The operation team, as you can see, is continuing doing a great job. I'd like to thank Wayne and Alicia for that. If you would, please moving over to page 134. So now we are currently in our third quarter. We have turned our attention to our access customers. Based on the numbers in February, I teamed up with the Director of Operation, Ron Newman, and we started How May I Help You campaign. We just doing another friendly reminder of our access driver to always lend a helping hand to those who need it the most. And that is to remember to secure their wheelchairs or even if they need a little help with the steps due, entering and exiting the yellow cab units. And as you can see, the I goal for the access is 0.5. Right now, we're at 0.79, which is not bad at all. The next time you see me, my hope is that our numbers are at goal or below. That concludes my report. If you have any questions for me.
I don't think so. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Chad?
All right, thank you very much. I have a brief report today. I have just a handful of items to share with you. First of all, thank you very much for earlier today with the public hearing and the approval of the service changes. That's very important for us to make sure that we continue our involvement of our system and make those changes as necessary. And as a reminder, the fare change, which was in the packet, will be in June. So just as we'll have that public hearing in the June board meeting. Second of all is the performance dashboard. Don't forget that you can look every day, if you so choose, on the website to review the ridership and other performance metrics. Reed had mentioned earlier today about TexRail is about 80,000 riders above where we were last year. I was going to give you a system-wide number. System-wide ridership is up 745,000 riders this time over this time last year. So we're moving ahead very well, shooting for that goal of 7.8 million people. Thirdly, you have the general planning consultant update, which is in your packet. A couple of highlights here is that the streetcar feasibility study that we have as task number 6, we're working with the City of Fort Worth on the Mayor's Urban Rail Committee supporting economic development and tourism. Thanks to Nick and Charles, who aren't here right now, for their participation in this committee, among all the others who are participating in this committee as well. We'll be working with the city and providing support to that committee on particular elements of that task as needed. Task number 8, which is our grant writing support, there are a couple items there that I wanted to share. The one that's listed, which is the FTA Bus and Bus Facilities Grant application, we did submit that in the end of April. We also have submitted a RAISE grant, as a reminder, for $25 million to help support the TexRail extension. And then the CRISI grant is due next week that we are submitting for $2.5 million to help support the planning activities and environmental documentation needed for double tracking, the complete double tracking of TRE. Next is the fare collection. I've already mentioned that to you as well. And then we have a handful of other tasks that we're working on developing scopes, which include a strategic plan, a property inventory evaluation of our properties that Trinity Metro owns, and then working with marketing on a signage and wayfinding task as well to help improve that signage and wayfinding at various stations and other locations across the system. Lastly, I want to mention that on May 4th, as you know, there were elections, and the city of Blue Mound had an election that chose to withdraw from Trinity Metro. So that was a successful referendum, unfortunately for us, but working with the city administrator, they want to continue providing services to those residents that are within Blue Mound and using the service. This was an opportunity for the city to better utilize the funds from the sales tax instead of it coming through us and then us performing those services. They're able to get those funds directly and put the money into other elements of their city. So I have, like I said, I've been working with the administrator there to continue the services in later dates. So I just want to give you a heads up on that, as we had mentioned previously, This may occur, it has occurred, and then we'll continue on and find a resolution between the city and us on future services. Any questions?
Not a question, but right before this, I was at an Urban Land Institute Tarrant County executive meeting, and they went to an extended olive branch and tried to give any resources they can to the streetcar feasibility study. So,
okay,
just FYI.
Sure, thank you.
The urban rail study.
Sorry, the urban rail study.
Urban rail study, yes.
Chad, I always enjoy hearing about the what we're doing with our professionals.
Great, thank you.
And Greg. Sorry, Greg, you have to sit through the whole thing. But
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Greg Jordan, Chief Financial Officer. I'd like to draw your attention to page 138 of the packet, and we'll walk through the monthly financial report and projections. As we start talking about the revenues, I think one of the things that's probably pretty important to tell you right now is, and we're not alone in this situation, but we are starting to experience a slowdown in the sales tax receipts. This is something that I've been discussing with my peers across different agencies, as well as some of the folks at Fort Worth too. And we're all generally drawing the same conclusions from the data that, sales tax is slowing, and as we're all going through our budget process and developments right now, those of us on a fiscal year in government service, we're all anticipating a really hard look at sales tax, which includes also consideration for a decrease in next year's budget. But we've got more runway before we get to the budget conversations. It's just something that, collectively, this is something that is occurring. We're noticing it and just paying very close attention to it. And so with that in mind, the sales tax projected to end this year, right now we're anticipating about $115.5 million. This is roughly $3.6 million below our current year adopted budget. Total revenues overall are budgeted at $320.4. We're projecting $318 in revenue. And again, this is primarily a function of the sales tax aspect. On the expense side, we have a total budget of $154.7 million. We're projecting $149.3 million, or $5.4 million below budget. Fixed route year to date is $22.2 million. We spent $19.8 during the same time period last year. We're projecting about a $1.1 million overage. This is driven primarily by personnel cost. However, we are projecting savings in the area of purchase transportation and fuel. Access is trending above budget by about $500,000, primarily in the personnel accounts and materials and supplies. Access budget is $11.8, and we're projecting $12.3 million at the end of the year. The TRE year to date is 8.7, and we spent 7.3 during the same time period last year. We're projecting year-end expenditures of 17.2 versus a budget of 17.3, generating a favorable position of $100,000 at the end of the year. TexRail, year-to-date, $13.4 million compared to $11.1 during the same time last year. We're projected to end the year at $28 million with a savings of $3.4. Bike share has slight savings projected at $8,000. This is very much in line with last year's overall performance, projecting $810,000 against a budget of $819,000. General administrative areas, we're projecting $46 million compared to a budget of $49.6, which is favorable by 3.5. Overall, we're projecting a favorable position at the end of the year by approximately $3.5 million. Just incidentally, last month we were projecting about a $3.2 million good guy at the end of the year. So although the sales tax is declining, we're also seeing corresponding declines on the expense side too. So overall, we're in good shape.
Is this odd that it's coming at this now at all sectors?
It's not necessarily. I think that there were a couple of functions that play into this. One of them is, we're going into an election year. This is something that we oftentimes see every 4 years during this time of cycle. I think one of the other things too that many people were expecting was, at some point in this year, we were hopeful that we'd start to see a reduction in the interest rates, but the inflation appears to remain a little bit stickier than
most of us thought. I think certainly, you know, one of my anticipations was that we'd be able to offset even some sticky inflation with continued population growth and the influx of new people and corporations. So, yeah, it's very interesting. It's something we're keeping an eye on very closely. And, you know, as we get closer into the budget conversation, I'm sure I'll have more to share with you in terms of, you know, our assessment of what's driving this, and hopefully we can collectively decide, you know, what next year looks like and make the mark too.
Comments? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We have 3 action items. BA 2024, 21, 24, and 25. Wayne, do you want to briefly present them?
You want me to briefly present them? I could do brief. All right. Wayne Gensler again, Chief Operations Officer. If you turn to page 140 in your packet, you'll see BA 2024-21. If you remember earlier on, I was talking to you about DCTA, the lift contract, and the rides back in October were somewhere around $4,500 a month in Alliance, and now it's skyrocketed to $9,000. Well, what that has caused us to do is come back to you and say, the $850,000 we asked you for earlier in the year, $850,000 was not enough. We have to expand it by $300,000. We're going to switch over to VIA in July 15th. So we need an extra $300,000 to continue the service through that time period, because we'll run out of money if we don't. And so that's what we're asking here for this one. Beginning on July 15, 2024, the Alliance Zip Zone will be operated by VIA under a contract with Trinity Metro and the interlocal agreement ILA 078 with Denton County Transportation will terminate. The Alliance Zip Zone service will transition from a free service to a fare-based service program. Customers will have the ability to schedule and pay for their on-demand trips through GoPass and Zip Zone. There is no DB program in this type of program, so we don't have any there. Funds are available in the Trinity Metro FY 2024 operating budget. Therefore, the recommendation, the Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorizes the President and Chief Executive Officer to modify the interlocal agreement with Denton County Transportation Authority, DCTA, for additional expenses related to the Alliance Zip Zone in the amount of $300,000 for a total amount not to exceed of $1,150,000. Any questions?
That's our lowest cost per ride zone, right?
Yes.
And so it'll go down as we get more riders, theoretically?
No, it will go up when we go into VIA. So this is a different type of service. It's like a normal Lyft or Uber ride, Isaac, so that it is cheaper in that way, except that the customer has free ride up to $50. So they could take that up to $50, and Trinity Metro is paying for it. Okay. Turning to page 142, you'll see BA 2024-24, and that's painting services. And briefly, I'll just give you a highlight. You know, we own and operate TMP station, Fort Worth Central Station, an HRP facility. All those are getting older every day, and they need painted. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done, not just simply paint those facilities. That includes, you know, fixing the drywall where necessary, fixing any of the floorboards or anything else that is necessary during this process so we can make it look first class again. We'll need special equipment for these areas, such as we might need scissor lifts, we need scraping of the beams and rafters, we need to deal with scaffolding probably throughout the project, especially over at Fort Worth Central Station. So we put out a bid. Trinity Metro intends to paint all interior and exterior areas of these facilities to improve their condition and appearance. And Trinity Metro issued an IFB on March 1st, 2024. We received 6 submittals and chose the best value for services requested. There is a disadvantaged business utilization of 5% in this contract that we want to enter into. The funds are available in the Trinity Metro FY 2024 capital and operating budgets. Funds for future contracts will be considered in the respective proposed budgets. And our recommendation, therefore, the Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorize the President and Chief Executive Officer to enter into a 2-year contract plus 3 one-year contract options with DFW Drywall Experts, LLC, for painting and related services in the amount not to exceed $750,000. Any questions on that? Nope. Seeing none, we'll go to page 143. Here's an easy one, and you asked about this earlier, Jeff. It's BA 2024-25, mobility minivans and wheelchair ramps. Earlier in the year, we bid a standard cutaway vehicle. We have that bid set aside because we're also looking at what we can use for on-demand services, which is a ride where we want to take care of paratransit customers as well as on-demand microtransit customers. The vehicle that we picked is a very comfortable ride. I do have a flyer I could give to you later, but it's like you were asking, a van look. It's low floor entry and a very comfortable ride. We all went, operations team went on a ride along with Kelly, and we enjoyed it. It was comfortable, easy to get on and off, and something that we think will fit right into what we're trying to do with our on-demand services. So we issued an RFP with the other cutaway services. This one, we looked at the Oklahoma competitive agreement that they did a bid on, and it falls under the Trinity Metro it allows Trinity Metro to purchase vehicles that meet Trinity Metro's desired vehicle functionality, comfort, and accessibility requirements. Through this cooperative agreement, Trinity Metro will acquire up to 25 micro minivans with wheelchair ramps. They are called Lone Star ProMasters 3500. Under the procurement, Trinity Metro's procurement department has followed its procurement policy, and the quotation for these vehicles were obtained through the State of Oklahoma contract SW0797C. This contract complies with state and federal purchasing requirements for fair and open competition. A contingency of 20% is being included for pre-wiring and other potential modifications to the vehicles to enable installation of cameras and other technologies required by Trinity Metro services. The funding for this project is in the Trinity Metro FY24 and FY25 future capital budget. Funds are available in the FY24 in the amount of $2,210,000. And in FY25 in the amount of $4.83 million. Our recommendation is the Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorize the President and Chief Executive Officer to enter into a contract with Creative Bus Sales for the purchase of up to 25 mobility minivans with wheelchair ramps at a cost of $3,899,625 with a 20% contingency of $779,925. For a not-to-exceed amount of $4,679,550,000. Any questions?
It wasn't quite as quick as I'd thought.
Well, I had to get some of those words in so that it's official.
So 160 a pop, those are pretty nice vans.
Well, they're nice fans, yes. They're very nice.
Not a question, just a comment.
Oh, okay.
We have before us action items BA 2024-21, BA 2024-24, and BA 2024-25. I'll accept a motion for approval of all of those action items.
Motion to approve.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. The next item of business is the President's report. Thank you, Wayne.
Okay, good day, Mr. Chairman, board members, Trinity Metro staff, and members of the public. Robert Allen, CEO for the Fort Worth Economic Development Partnership, has been on a whirlwind tour talking about the future of our city and our economy. Last week, Robert shared some statistics on our city's tax base and gross domestic product, a broad measure of economic productivity of our region. He showed how the city of Fort Worth's tax base is 60% residential and 40% commercial, an upside-down ratio that has residents shouldering more of the cost burden for infrastructure and services. On GDP, the numbers were even more startling. Dallas County and the east side of our region generates $92,000 per capita, or a total of $404 billion. Fort Worth, in our side of the region, produces 43% less, $52,000 per capita, or $190 billion. So you might ask, what does all this have to do with public transportation? First, you heard me say, and I'll say it again, every dollar invested in Trinity Metro generates an immediate benefit of $3.05. So every dollar equals $3.05. Those are the immediate economic benefits of Trinity Metro, but there's something more significant at stake. Public transportation is critical to attracting and retaining talent in our city, ergo business growth and success. Companies across many sectors are looking for employees with the skills, training, and experience needed for new economy jobs in AI, robotics, healthcare, logistics, new manufacturing, and education. Trinity Metro's success is more than bragging rights for our city. It is essential to long-term economic success and, by extension, the affordability of housing and well-being of residents. A few weeks ago, this board and Trinity Metro executive leaders had an opportunity to meet for an all-day workshop on the strategic direction of the company. We discussed mission, vision, values. We reviewed polling data, focus group feedback, and our transit value proposition study. We considered a radical brand simplification to improve the customer experience and ease of using our system. It was a fantastic day together. Our board members gave some great feedback and direction, and we will be sharing those results from our retreat, first with Trinity Metro staff, and then with the public in the next few months. So stay tuned for more on that. And finally, just days ago, we activated Trinity Metro Wi-Fi on our bus and access fleets. The service is free to all customers. Our customers can sign on to the Wi-Fi by looking for Trinity Metro Public Wi-Fi on their device and agreeing to our use and policy guidelines. One of the great features for customers is they have access to real-time service information and can pay their fares via GoPass even if they don't have cellular service. We are pleased to introduce this service first to our bus and access customers. But rest assured, we're also working on expanding this program to TexRail, and testing is already underway on that service. Wi-Fi is not just great customer service, it will help us drive ridership and build brand loyalty. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This concludes my remarks.
It's always hard to follow Rich in some remarks. There's an old biblical adage, Chris, if he was here, would remember it. It's called a prophet is never known in his own town. It alludes to what you would imagine, that because Rich is familiar and we know him, well, he is a prophet. And we need to think about the kinds of things that he just said. And some of us have been saying it for many, many years in Fort Worth and Tarrant County. And this data doesn't lie. And my hats are off to Mayor Parker. My hats are off to Robert Allen and to Steve Montgomery. You got to know where you are before you can get somewhere. And we've been, in the past, our city leaders have swept this data under the carpet, always talking about how rosy things are. And Bill Thornton said it before he left as the chamber president. He said, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So we do have to do things differently. And I want to, today I think Nick said it best. And I think the staff and this board, I've never been prouder of a relationship. It is it, and I've called it lightning in a bottle, but because of where we are now and where we need to go, we've set new goals. We have an urban rail vision, but we also have better public transportation in general. And over time, we're going to have to advance that cause dramatically to do all the things that we have to do. So one of the things I want to challenge the board with and the staff is we're at a good place, we're at a good moment in time, but from this day forward, I want you to think about what we need to be doing to do the kinds of things to move forward. And I want to talk about a relentless pursuit of excellence. I just don't want to talk about doing better, getting a 5% more this or that. I mean, we expect that at this point. I want to be relentless. Every day I want the board to go out, I want them to talk about transit. I want the staff to continue doing the great job that they're doing and move forward and do the things that they've been doing and do more. We have a lot of work to do, but you'll hear me talk in the future. But my mantra now is relentless. We are not going to give up. We're going to move forward. We're going to be the great city that we can be. Let's just be relentless. Thank you, and there's no further business to come before the meeting. We are adjourned.